You guys knocked off the #1 team in the country last night. What was the bus ride home like?
A lot of fun. Locker room, I mean, there's no better feeling than walking in the locker room on the road. You know, anybody you beat on the road, you know, in conference, is the best feeling ever. And then to do what those guys did last night, to knock off the #1 team in the country on the road, that's 22-0. You know, it was pretty special.
This was the first win in program history over a #1 ranked team. What does it mean for you personally to lead the program to that win?
Well, I told my assistants that I've never beaten a #1. I've beaten a #2, 4, 5, a bunch of the teams, but never a #1. So, you know, I'm more happy for the guys. I'll have another crack at a #1, I'm sure, at some point in time in my career. But you know, I was just so happy and so proud of those guys. You know, to see their faces and excitement in the locker room after. I mean, that's what it's all about. So those guys, you know, even the last couple games, the Pikeville game, Shawnee on the road, you know, the last couple games, they've really come together and you know, done some special things.
Yeah, as you were saying, a week and a half ago, you guys lose at home to Northwestern Ohio. And then you run off 3 straight wins against ranked teams, beating Pikeville, Shawnee State, and now #1 Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the difference?
Well, I think a game like that, you know, when you lose to a team that you maybe think you shouldn't, you know, that's where you can have a lot of conversation, where you can learn from it, and you can go one way or the other. And I thought these guys have responded with a lot of maturity, a lot of toughness, a lot of togetherness. There's not a guy in that locker room that cares about who's scoring. You know, it's more about, you know, our shot than my shot with these guys. You know, they're just so happy for one another, you know, when the ball's going in the hole. So, you know, when you've got a group like that, they're a lot of fun to coach, and you know, they're a lot of fun to be around.
You guys led by 8 points with a minute to go. Georgetown got it all the way down to 1 point. They had the ball with a chance to win or tie at the buzzer. What was going through your mind in that last minute?
Man, I hope they don't score. Yeah, we had some things happen towards the end of the game, you know, that didn't go our way, and you know, I thought our guys, you know, through adversity when they made the comeback, and I knew they would. A team that good and that talented, you know, they're going to make runs, and I remember looking up at the clock. I think we were up maybe 8 or 9 with 6 minutes to go. I remember looking up at the clock and thinking, this is going to be a long 6 minutes. So, you know, when they made the run, and I just kept telling our guys, you know, relax, breathe, just keep playing hard, keep doing what we're asking you to do, and you know, luckily, you know, towards the end there, the ball, you know, bounced our way.
About midway through the second half, you guys are up 10 points. Georgetown goes on an 11-0 run.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reed Jolly kind of took over the game for a little bit. He scored 7 straight points.
Mm-hmm.
You guys went on a 9-0 run. He also hit the game winner against Pikeville.
Mm-hmm.
What's it meant for you guys to have a first-year player step up like that?
Well, I told Reed when I was recruiting him, you know, you'll have the opportunity to play in the best league in the country. You know, to be around some other guys that are going to, you know, make his game better. You know, I hugged him last night in the locker room and said, this is why you came here. You came here to be put in that position, to be one of the best scorers on the floor. You know, at Georgetown, at, you know, one of the best teams in the country, and to walk out of there with a win. So Reed Jolly's a gamer, man. There was no doubt in my mind those free throws at the end were going to go in to put us up 3, because, you know, he's been in those situations, those high pressure situations before, and he's the type of guy that just gets it done. Same way with a lot of these guys. Brian Bate, for a long stretch there, he was unstoppable. He was the best player on the floor, I thought, and really helped us a lot when, you know, we couldn't score, and he put us on his back and you know, pushed it back out for us.
Yeah, Bate hit a lot of big shots last night. finished with 20 points. He scored 15 or more in 7 of the last 9 games. What's he been doing lately that's allowed him to have such success?
Well, I don't think it's any secret that we have to play through him. We have to play inside out. He's got to get a lot of touches. He's got to get the opportunity. And to his credit, he's done a very good job putting himself in situations where he can be successful to score and also distribute the ball to get it to our shooters. And defensively, he's always guarding their best big. So he's been really, really good on both sides of the floor. And our success, particularly these last 3 games, he's played the best basketball I've seen him play.
It seemed like all game long last night you guys would go on a big run, take the lead. Georgetown would go on a big run, get it back. That happened like 3 or 4 times. What is it like to coach in a game like that, where 1 minute you guys are on fire and the next year you're going through a drought?
Well, any given game, basketball's a game of runs, and you've got to be able to deal with that. You've got to be able to handle, some of the adversity that comes with that. You got to have a short memory as far as, you miss a defensive assignment or you miss a shot, you don't have time to sit there and think about it. You've got to go down to the other end of the floor and do what the team needs you to do. And we've got a bunch of guys that have bought into that, guys that are playing for each other. So when one guy makes a mistake and the other team goes on a run, they've got 4 other guys picking them up, telling them, patting them on the back and telling them to keep moving. So like I said, these guys are a lot of fun to coach. Last night was an up and down game. Pikeville up and down. Shawnee was, we were leading most of the game, but it got tight there. It got the forward towards the end. So, these guys all year long, even early at Marion, at Taylor, fight. The entire game, no matter what's going on, they're going to keep playing.
Georgetown has one of the highest scoring offenses in the country. Going into last night, they averaged about 96 points a game. You've held them under 75 points twice now. What are you doing to slow them down?
Well, defensively, schematically, we don't change too much what we're going to do game to game. Individuals change a little bit. But offensively, we run our stuff to try to get the best shot possible, which if the ball's in our hands, it's not in theirs. And then, defensively, I thought last night and the last couple games, we've been locked into what we're trying to do. And I thought, there was a few stretches in the game last night. We played defense with a high sense of urgency, and we talk about that a lot. That's the difference between a shot going in and not going in, is you being there with high hands, chopping your feet, closing out the right way every single time, knowing where guys are. Last night, I think they shot 3 for 14 or something like that from 3. They made 3 threes, which is the season low for them. And I thought we did a great job of knowing where guys are. And I thought that was the difference.
This game wasn't some fluke where you guys just kind of shot lights out. You really went toe-to-toe with them, and the box score was pretty even, and you came out on the winning end. Mm-hmm. What does that do for your team's confidence level heading into the last stretch of the season?
Well, I think these guys understand that I know we're the new guys in the Mid-South, and this is a transition year. But from the start, I've told these guys when we're doing what we're capable of doing, we can compete with anybody. So I think that they, having gone through the first round of the conference, they understand that if we do what we're capable of doing, we can play. And I told those guys before the game last night, come out strong and send a message to these dudes that we're here to play tonight. So, I thought we did that last night. We've been doing it, for the last couple of games. So, as far as the confidence for these guys, I think they should be very confident in what they're doing. And the only reason it is that way is because they're doing it together. They are playing good team basketball right now on both ends of the floor.